Jeanne Munoz, I'm so excited to talk about what small businesses need to know for 2022. And we have such a lineup. You have a sheet there. Will you hold that sheet up? We're going to go through. This is worth listening to all of it. This is from several years of us coaching people and training them through some of the toughest times, and many succeeded when they thought they would fail. So pay attention to this series. Let's start with you.
Oh, well, thank you, Martin. And, we really want to do what we can to help our small business folks be the most successful they can possibly be in 2022. And as I see it, that's a combination of really three factors that are going to help them to do that. One, of course, is the implementation of what we know as those basic, tried and true marketing strategies, the ones we've talked about, such as building those really clear and detailed personas so you know who your customer is that you're talking to, and then knowing their journey and understanding those touch points where you need to provide content and you need to reach out to your customers. And then definitely when we think about the content, knowing and understanding their needs and their likes and their wants and the problems they're trying to solve. So that's our starting place, is really going back to those basics and making sure we're implementing those, in the best way possible. And then after that, attention to any of the recent trends that are all, forecasted to continue. We started talking about that during the pandemic with a lot of our small businesses here in North Carolina. And, those things have continued, many of those things we talked about in 2021. And then awareness of all the new features. And this is the hard part. It doesn't stay the same, does it, Martin? All these new things to keep up with. And so we need to make sure we're staying informed about that. So it's kind of a three-pronged approach, from my perspective. And we do know that hybrid approach is going to continue, don't we? It's going to be the importance of on the ground as well as
on the web. You got
on the web strategy.
The ground game and the web game, and integrating it in realistic ways you can manage.
Right. So, one of the things that you talk about a lot, and we both really try to do, is encourage all of the folks to be, and the businesses to be, viewing video content as critical to their business. And this is continuing on into 2022. We knew we were going to be hitting a peak period here where about 80% of all viewing and searching and all on the internet was going to have to do with video. So we want to encourage everyone to look at the new tools and the new features that are in the tools such as Reels and YouTube, keep abreast of those, and really spend some time on creating these short form videos like Instagram Reels and TikTok. Do you know TikTok just recently this month that it was announced that TikTok topped Google as the top website in visits? So we know that TikTok, not only is it growing, but that's something that's really resonating with people. And then live streaming video. So all of those types of video are so important. And we're not just talking, make a video and put it out there in social media. We want video in your email newsletters. We want it on your blogs, on your website, as well as those social content.
Everybody I've worked with has some challenge of being on video. I don't like my voice. I don't like my hair. I've got a double chin, whatever it is. The answer is get over it and be caring about your customers. Because if that's such a big issue to them, they'll meet you in person at some point. Don't worry about it. It's going to be done. And the other thing is also, Jeanne, compassion for the fear of going live. We've run into a number of clients where working with them, they've broken through to get on video, but then they're more reluctant to be live. It feels more raw. And I just want to talk about that's true for many of us. And I just did a new live test and upgraded my studio with an Echo. And I went, okay, that failed miserably. And I just went around and deleted them, and nobody said, I'll never work with you. I saw your test that went on live. So find a safe way to test that. Maybe a time you think someone's not listening, or take one of the locations first to go live. And there are things like Restream that can help you, and other tools that we talk about in our training that really can help out. But this humanized, personalized, and nothing's going to be more passionate than you about the business. And if there is, you really need to get more passionate about your business.
Well, I think part of all that discomfort comes from the fact that when video first came out, it was all that highly polished, You need really expensive tools to do your editing. And, we've seen even in what you and I are doing right now,
Right.
how much more casual video can be and still be successful. The importance is really getting that message out there and helping people to get to know you and your business. And one other way you can do that that's really gained popularity, I know you've been doing quite a bit with this, is the audio content and podcasting this year, which is not surprising, I guess, when we think about how short form video and short form content has really gained in popularity. But people really like that on the go, snackable kind of content that you can get. So Clubhouse, Instagram Rooms, and Twitter Spaces have become really popular. People, sadly, we kind of don't like to read as much as we used to. We want video and we like the audio that we can listen to. The other thing that I think is so important when we're thinking about both the audio and the video is the importance of storytelling. And Martin, you like to talk about that.
Some people are more comfortable with telling stories in the business than others. So it's okay to use some bullet points or work with someone else who knows you and get them to train, go, that would be a good story. That would be a good story. People are drawn in humanly, I think, at an organic level to stories. We do need to get to the point, not have them the long, shaggy tail joke type stories. But the key is really thinking about listening to the stories that capture your customers. Listen to the stories when you ask them, what brought you here? What do they say? Is there a story in that you can capture? Even if they don't tell it, you can tell it as well. So this is a muscle that Jeanne really takes some work to develop, and it's not easy for most people. I mean, we've incorporated a number of what I call Kickstarters in our classes to give them ideas and structures, sort of like a scaffolding to build stories. But just know it's a muscle you're going to have to practice. And one thing, just like video, make some bad videos right away and don't let anyone see them, and practice the stories and see how they work. We want to capture authenticity, but also your professionalness as well. Not authenticity lazy or authenticity not competent. And that's the key to capturing these stories.
Right. And we've worked quite a bit with people to tell the story of their business and how they came to be and what it is they hope to do for their clients. But one of the focuses I think that's so important as we talk about personalization and humanization as well is to really focus this year as you move forward on capturing the stories of your clients and how you can help them be successful or how they've become more successful and had their problems solved by working with you and your business, whether it's a service or a product. So let your customers tell their stories. And, as a part of that, we really need to encourage everyone to really focus again on how are you going to get those testimonials, getting those reviews and having your place on the Google business profile, formerly your Google My Business listing, having that be a place where you can store each of those reviews, or your Facebook, but really having a strategy for how you're going to collect those. And another way you can really have your customers and clients tell your story for you is by encouraging and developing a way that you can gather user-generated content. And I like to think about one of our folks that we work with that has Mugshot Mondays. Every Monday, it's take a picture if you've purchased a pottery mug from them. Hold up your mug and take a picture, and he's got the hashtag and the app mentions and everything all set up so people can do that. And that tells a story in itself about how people are enjoying that product. So thinking of ways to do that. And then one of the other things that I guess I'm thinking of in terms of storytelling is, there's been quite a bit of talk that, influencer marketing was going to be on the decline. And I think, there may be a little bit of truth to that when we're talking about big name, famous people. But when we're talking to small businesses about influencer marketing, we're really talking about micro influencers. And those are the people that are their raving fans and repeat customers that just love their business. Those are your micro influencers. So get those folks to tell your story on their platforms or to talk about you. And that's another way that we can really focus on storytelling here going into 2022. Another thing, that this makes me think about is, Martin, we mentioned personalization and humanization of content. And a term that came to be into being, I think, in 2021 was conversational marketing. And both of those we're seeing, continue into 2022. And I think those are going to become the norm, don't you, as far as marketing? Yeah. So when we're talking about that, that's driven by the fact that we find consumers are really wanting immediate answers, access to you, the business owner. They want ease of service, ease of access. They want to connect. And, part of this has been driven by the fact that people have been more isolated, no thanks to the pandemic. So, when we're talking about that conversational marketing and more personalization, we're talking about things like, getting that email marketing set up if you haven't done that yet. And because you can send out very targeted and segmented emails that are more relevant or more personalized, and certainly make sure you set that up with that name field so it addresses them by name. And then there's the rise of SMS, or text messaging is extremely popular with our younger folks. They want to be able to get texts from businesses. And I just finished up the year by, finishing up with some doctor checkups and appointments. And, all the doctor's offices now are using text messages to contact me and remind me about my appointments. And, we see that in the medical field and some other businesses, but we want other small businesses to think about how can they connect and make the whole process easier and more personalized through text messaging. Of course, you can direct message on your social platforms. I'm always surprised with with the businesses we do. They're doing beautiful posts, and then they're getting great engagement. People are responding, and I love this. And it's very quiet on the end of the business. No one's saying, I'm so glad you love this. You can go right here and get it, or call me. I've got one right here. I'd love to send you. We need to engage, and we need to be building those connections and those conversations through our direct messaging as well. And then you've worked a lot with some very small businesses who've been using chatbots.
Yeah, chatbots is another way that you can build up. I have a whole course on it and teamed up with an expert on it. And some of these, it just takes time where you can not only learn from it what people are asking, but also this can be ideas for content for you to generate. I had 3 people ask this question. I don't have any video content or even a blog on this. Maybe I should write one on it. So chatbots are a tool that more people are comfortable using with, and you can learn from the customer what they want, their value, and even ideas for future marketing content.
Right. And, video chat has become very, very popular. And one of the ways that I think we're going to see that is through customer service become more and more important, that people can video chat and talk, show what's wrong with something and things like that. So those are things to watch. And then, all of this in terms of personalization and humanization includes the building of communities around your business. And we've seen some very successful folks do that. And, those can be things like Facebook groups with special interests. It could be things like special access membership sections of your website that build communities. And then also special events for, creating special events for certain portions of your audience where you're doing something special for them and providing something special for them. So we're seeing that used in marketing, and those will continue to be important as well. So now I'm going to talk about something that's going to make life a little more difficult for all of us, Martin. And I know you've been mentioning this lately, and that's the fact that the concerns that we all have that are valid about privacy online are leading to are being called data wars. And the law, and how are we going to handle this loss of data? Here, artificial intelligence was kind of trucking along, gathering all kinds of good information for us so that we could know how to target our ads and really better understand who our customers are and what they're doing online. And now some of that's probably going to go away. And what we see, with Google's going to be discontinuing cookies. They've moved it out of 2022 to 2023, so that we've got a little bit more time there. But the new Apple operating system was just updated with more privacy features. So we know that that's going to be changing. So, first of all, I say make sure you know and use those data collection analytic tools that you have access to, like Google Analytics, Facebook Pixels. As long as they're out there, look at those analytics. What are people liking that you're creating content? What are they spending time watching and viewing on your video? Who is it? Is it female, male? You're still getting some demographic information that's going to be really helpful in better understanding and better messaging. And it's not only important for us to know our customer, but SEO, Google, and a lot of the search engines, they are going to increase your you in search results and returns based upon how much time people are spending on your website. So you need to know that information. What pages are generating the most time spent? Do you have a video on there they're watching? That's where videos become, important again. And the algorithms do that as well. So not just Google algorithms, but the social media algorithms. So, we want to make sure that as we're thinking about data and we're thinking about all of that, that we are using them in wise ways and using them as much as possible. Now, there's an emphasis now on the importance of collecting first-party data. Now, first-party data means you're asking the customer, okay? No other artificial intelligence is collecting it for you. So what are some ways we can do that? Well, Martin, for a long time, you've advocated for making sure you are collecting email newsletter information on your website, right?
Yeah, and also training everyone on the team, possibly a gamification of collecting information from the customer. What are they spending money on? Not just what do they say they want, where are they getting out their money and paying for it in your business, and really tiling in what is it about those shoes they liked? What is it about that product they like? And that's where you're going to get the rich data that will give you the fierce competitive advantage. Because a small company, a small mom and pop shop, or like I mentioned, a shoe store, they can't afford $1 million ad campaign or a survey that went out to thousands of people. They need to listen better to the behaviors of their customer. That why did they choose it? What was the thing they loved? It's all there, but we often haven't trained our listening or had our team understand that and collecting it so that you're creating authentic content people would want. Because Jeanne, Google's always been providing the content people want and getting better and better. So when you go, well, I can't pay for ads as much and they cost more. Yeah, but Google's never going to turn away what the customer really wants. So the more you follow this idea of the personas, the way we taught people to develop them, the buyer's journey, the way we taught it, and dial that in of who do I want to attract and who do I need to realize I can't serve in the right way, the more the system wants to deliver that to your customers, and we'll support it because it serves them as well.
Right. And, so what are the ways we can get that information? As you said, your employees talking to people, talk to your customers one way. We talked about collecting information for your email marketing for newsletters. If you don't have a sign up for email marketing form on your website, you need to have one. It's going to become more and more important. And, there are a lot of people advocating, about 90% of people think that email is one of the top marketing techniques going into 2022 because it takes care of four things. It's more private. It can be automated, it can be segmented and targeted. And, it's also, got that personalization feature, right? Where people can feel like, you're addressing them by name and things like that. So it's really kind of covering a lot of bases there. So we want to make sure we continue to encourage you to do that. And we talk about that a lot, but you can also do surveys. Interactive content like polls on Instagram stories. Find out what they like by asking a poll-like question. There's a lot of informal ways you can do that. If you have an order form, if you're doing sales online, make sure you collect some data there in your order form. For instance, a text. A lot of us shopping online here for the holidays found that part of that was including your phone number so they could text message you about the status of your order. That's a way you can collect data and information. You can collect information when you do contests. Do an online contest and collect information, or when you have someone redeem, a coupon. You can have some information on that coupon. Look at your customer purchase history. When you have in-person events, make sure there's a way to collect some information about the folks that are interested in you. So there's a lot of different ways. We have to start thinking not about letting some of these apps collect the data anymore, and how we're going to go back to do that as the privacy concerns come out. And then one of the other pieces I started to talk about there, SEO is something that's been a topic for a long, long time. And when we talk about SEO now, some of the other things we've talked about previously, like keywords and all, are very important, but we really are talking about the user experience. And across everything, the algorithms for social media and our websites, it's the user experience that's going to be most important, or our customers' experience. That's expected by our customers. They expect to come to your website. That way, they waste a lot of time finding where they order things or where things are for sale or what it is you offer as a service. So, making sure your navigation is easy in the top part of you, above your fold on your website, really tells about what you offer and, and where your products can be found. And then another piece of that is being easy to find. And voice search is now handling so much of the search online. So making sure your content is answering the questions people are asking in voice search. And then optimizing for mobile so that your pages aren't slow loading. It was one of the major stores that I tried to order from over the holidays, and I could only see half of the web page on mobile. And I thought, oh my goodness, this was such a big store. How could they have missed that, right? But I didn't order because it was too much of a pain in the neck. And then, making sure that you always use those call to actions everywhere on your website, in your blog, on your social media. Tell them what to do next. Do you like this? Or, we want you to learn more. Here's where you need to go. So all of those things increase that user experience. I have two more things to mention, Martin.
Yeah.
I've been sharing a lot today.
They may want to listen more than once to this. This is a recipe for the year.
Right. So I promise I'll be quick. But one of the things that came up in 2021 that's continuing to be important is the importance of businesses, including, if possible, their commitment to social responsibility. Yes. And by that, I mean things like, we know that inclusivity has always been important, but never more so than now. We have a lot of things going on, in our climate, our social and political climate right now. So inclusivity is something that has become important to people to watch for. Also, highlighting any causes and missions that are important to your business. I'm thinking of Betty White, and so much of the dialogue and discussion's been about her cause working with animals and animal welfare. And that's because people can identify with that humanizes her, it connects us to her, and it's so important. And that happens for businesses as well. And then with all of, I don't know, some people call it the great resignation, but there's been a lot of self-reflection of people in their jobs. And so we see customers paying more attention to those businesses who are showing care and concern for their employees and for their customers. So if that's something you can communicate, that's important, as well as any sustainability practices that you might follow in your business. So all of those are kind of, hot topics or popular topics now. So if there's anything that your business is doing that's related to those or that you can communicate, that may be important to you as a business.
There's another aspect to it is in working with businesses to get employees, which is sometimes a real problem in many of the small businesses, having that bigger mission, having the reason why, knowing that not only the employee of your business, but this is what we're up to. So really evaluating that your own mission and purpose is clear, and it's a game they want to be part of. We want them to be showing up beyond just the paycheck and being part of something bigger, and that you're communicating that or upgrading it. The worst thing is, we did a study group or a focus group on our mission statement. It's in the drawer around here. Well, if you aren't using it and keeping it alive in conversation on a regular basis, it's dead. It's not there. You don't have one. And this is something we found as a tool for attracting employees, even in a business. What's the work experience? What's it like? One client we're working with to set up some equipment and stuff in the areas. They're looking for, what does the younger audience want in a facility, and adding some new things in the facility that they might want to make it a more fun environment. And then how can they support the ones that want to work remotely? Businesses are working with it. So that kind of purpose, mission, one, it's going to energize you to get excited about it. Two, it's going to energize the customer to spend money with you. And three, it's going to help in attracting employees. So this is such an important piece. And Jeanne, you and I have worked with people to draw that out, to get that clear and get it concise, not something they have to memorize, but something that comes out of their pores.
Right. And we work with several businesses that actually are mission based, or they donate part of their proceeds to other projects that are important to them. But one of the things I notice is oftentimes that's stated as an afterthought on a web page, or as an afterthought, in little fine print, hoping people will notice. And I think sometimes we need to think about getting that out there in front more. So something to think about. So we've talked a lot about some of the very important basics of good marketing. And then we've talked about some trends that emerged, throughout the pandemic and then last year, and how those are continuing. But perhaps the hardest piece, Martin, is trying to keep up with all the change, right? I mean, you and I work on this constantly, and the small business owners, that's just hard. How do you find the time to do that, right? So one of the third prong of all of this is as best you can, you want to be staying informed and staying on top of new developments. Now, sometimes that's as simple as, hey, what's this new development on Instagram? And what are the new tools here that are on Instagram Reels so that I can make a really great little video? And, that's one of the ways that we see things emerging and new things. But also, there are the new technologies, like the newer technologies like chatbots that's been on the rise, and understanding artificial intelligence and how that really impacts your data and all. But now we find that, we're really moving into the metaverse.
Right.
And all of this immersive technology like AR, augmented reality, and virtual reality that sounds like something we were watching years ago out, wasn't going to happen until forever. And here we are now, right? So some of those are a little bit hard or a bit of a stretch for small businesses, but there are ways to start dipping your foot into that. For instance, on Instagram, you can create a filter for free, an AR filter that's related to your business. That might be a way to get started. Or there's ways to create a little hologram type of thing to put on your business card that could be read with an AR reader. So, those are ways you can kind of dip your toe into that and see if that generates any new excitement or interest around your business. But you want to be watching for those kinds of things. Instagram just announced that it may be incorporating the sale of NFTs, or the Bitcoin type of currency,
right.
onto the Instagram app, because and in a section called collections that people can buy and sell there. So we're going to find this becoming more and more mainstream. And I know, Martin, you've become really knowledgeable about Bitcoin and all that.
The metaverse is coming, but it's also been here. There's things like Second Life that have been around for a while. So no, Zuckerberg doesn't own it. He's just trying to capitalize on it. And that's why it's important to watch. If you took our courses, you're in the group where we do a lot of updates on. We'll put the link to the Facebook page where we also have it. And this is key to pay attention to. Is it ready for you to jump in yet or not? And just kind of watch for it. It's coming. It's evolving at different degrees. Where you jump in is dependent on your customers. Pay attention to what they're doing. If a lot of them got the Ocular 2 for Christmas, we might want to listen to more and see what's going on with it. So paying attention. Then we're going to hear more about cryptocurrency. I'm working with a realtor now also that's going to accept cryptocurrency. I've worked with the bed and breakfast. I do in my business. So that's not going away. It's the horse is out of the barn, and it is going to be infusing in it, as well as there are even metaverses that run on a Ethereum blockchain. So watch for this. I do my best to do education, so at least the buzzwords to talk to customers on it. You'll find I have YouTubes on it. It is coming, augmented reality. And Jeanne and I work hard to go, okay, how could a small business with little or no money start something with this? It's just like back when QR codes came out. We got them to put little QR codes saying, scan this to connect to us on Facebook in the store. Many just said, follow us on Facebook, but didn't even say why they should do it. And we got that adopted in low-cost ways. So we'll be working on that throughout the year and updating it for those on the email list and in the group.
Well, I think, there's two ways to look at that. First of all, it can be very overwhelming, all this change, and, kind of scary and all. But on the other hand, it creates so many great opportunities to reach out in new ways to different segments of our audience and segments of our customers, because all of our customers aren't the same, right? So things are going to appeal to them in different ways, particularly when we think about some of the age differentiation that we see, what's appealing to some of our younger buyers and younger younger customers. So it's important to try to stay on top of that. And luckily, there are a lot of places you can get that information, classes that are taught. Martin, I know you and I teach a number of classes that address these things. So we just think it's so important. It's a mission of Martin's and a mission of mine that, we want to do all that we can to help small business owners be successful. So we hope these tips and these ideas for you will help lead to that in 2022. And I know for me, Martin, I wish everybody a very successful 2022.
Yes, same here. Look forward to hearing your success. We're so honored we got to help many businesses through this difficult time who thought they wouldn't make it. We'll put links below so you can learn more. I've got a newsletter on there you can sign up for and get the latest thing we put together. And we want to hear your stories. Jeanne and I are open to interviewing you. I have a whole dedicated channel for small businesses to interview their success and share it with others. It's the backbone of our community. It's the backbone of our country. It's critical that we keep supporting small and micro businesses. It gives hope in communities. And this is a time like no other that we need to look for ways to really keep supporting that. So we're honored we get to help. We want to hear what you found most useful from our pretty big list we put together, and look forward to seeing you in our training, consulting, and coaching events.
Thanks for sticking with us.
Take care. Take care.
Happy 2022.
Thanks, Jeanne. Excellent.